Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our situational writing review, a quick summary of what we've learned in the last 3 terms about situational writing. Now, in particular, we are going to be looking at informal emails this evening. Right, let's come together to examine the rubrics. How are we going to be judged in our writing? Now, very quickly, your situational writing will be judged according to your task fulfillment as well as your language. Now, what task fulfillment simply means is whether you are aware of the purpose, audience, and context of the email you're writing. So your response must show a very good understanding and clear awareness of the purpose, audience, and context with all of the key information provided in your email. And later on, we're going to talk a little bit more about what purpose, audience, and context mean, and what all of the key information means. If you have both of these points, then you can get the maximum marks for your task fulfillment or content. Next, language, your paragraphing, your organization of your email will determine how many marks you get for the next section, which is language. Now, in order to get the highest band, we must have accurate language with hardly any errors in grammar, spelling, and punctuation. Your ideas and facts must be linked together and ordered in such a way that the information that's presented is clear to your recipient or the person who's reading your emails. So remember, the 2 areas you're being focusing on today: 1, your task fulfillment or content, and 2, your language. Now let's talk about purpose, audience, and context. Remember, the 6 marks that you need to score comes from clear awareness of purpose, audience, and context. So purpose, why the text is written. Audience, who the text is written for. And context, the place, the time, the participants, as well as the form that the text takes. So in this case, an email. So let's take a look at an example. This example of a situational writing task contains the question. Now we can find all 3 of these points in the question: the purpose, the audience, and the context. Now, take a look at the question. Write an email to inform Jean about some of the important points mentioned during the briefing. So we have a briefing that Jean has missed. You are supposed to update Jean, because she's your classmate, about what she's missed. So let's spot the purpose, the audience, and the context. All right, are you ready? Can you spot them? Yes. The purpose is to inform Jean about some of the important points mentioned during the briefing. The audience is Jean, and the context is an email. So, purpose, audience, and context. Next, what are the 6 and always and only 6 content points that we need to include in our email? And that is going to be all of the points that we include in the email to score the top band of 6 marks out of 6. So the first point, why you are writing the email, point number 1. Second point, what she needs to prepare for the home visit. Third and fourth points, the 2 important items to pack. Fifth point, what she can bring back from the trip. And lastly, what she brings back for can be for. Right, so let's get back to the question now. And let's remember that this was our purpose statement. This is going to start off our email. Now, let's get down to all the important points that will follow our writing of this email. So, the 6 content points are listed on the left, and the information that I identify from the passage is listed on the right. So why are you writing the email? To inform Jean about this briefing. What she needs to prepare for the home visit, a gift for the family. What are the two important items to pack? Winter clothing, comfortable shoes. What can she bring back from the trip and who it can be for? Pine nut and date cake for your family. Right. So let's take a look at the form of an informal email. The very first thing we must always remember to write is the date on the top left-hand corner, following the left margin. Remember, everything will lean against the left margin. So the first element is the date. Now remember, if there is a date given to the event, the date of the email must always be after the event has occurred, unless it is an event that is in the future. Right. Next, we have the salutation. Right? Dear Jean. And here we see the audience of our email. Right? Jean. Next, we have our polite statement. How are you? Remember, this is always how we start an email, with a polite statement, followed by a purpose statement. I would like to inform you about some of the important points mentioned during the briefing for the school trip that you missed. So, salutation, polite phrase, and purpose statement. Right, next we see the 6 points that we listed arranged in order. And remember, feel free to use the points themselves as words in your answer. Right? Let's look at the final form. So there are 3 paragraphs, 1, 2, and 3. There is the end salutation, and there is your name, the person you are writing as, at the bottom of the email. So let's summarize again the main features of an informal email. Right? Notice there are 6 content points listed in the passage. The first point, why you are writing, to inform Jean about the important points mentioned during the briefing. And my point number 1 also happens to be my purpose statement, right? My point number 2, right, preparing a gift for the family you are visiting. Point number 3, the weather in China will be very cold, so you need to pack winter clothing. And you also need to bring comfortable shoes for the sightseeing, which is point number 4. Point number 5, we'll be visiting the famous pine nut and date cake factory too. Alright? And you can bring back the pine nut and date cake for your family in Singapore. So what can we bring back? The pine nut and date cake, and we can bring it back for our family. Okay? And finally, the end purpose statement. I look forward to the trip and I hope we will have a good time there. See you in school soon, and take care. Now this is obviously because Jean has not been well, and as your friend, as her friend, you are wishing her a speedy recovery. Take care. And followed by warmest regards or cheers and your name. Remember, only the first name because you're writing to your friend. It's informal. So the tone you take should be one in which you are speaking to a friend. So notice the informal tone of how are you? Notice the informal tone of I would like to. And notice the informal tone of take care. See you in school soon. And cheers or warmest regards, followed by your name, Linda. So date, salutation, introduction, and in the introduction you'll find the polite phrase and the purpose statement, the body or the content, which includes your 6 content points split up over the 3 paragraphs, and finally the end or closing statement. I look forward to the trip. I hope we can have a good time. See you in school soon. Take care. And finally, the end salutation or the sign-off, which could be cheers or warmest regards. Remember, capital letter C or capital letter W if it's warm regards, and capital letter for your name at the end. Alright? So this is the form of an informal email. Don't forget all of the main ingredients. Date, salutation, paragraphing, and sign-off. Remember, purpose and polite statement, 6 content points, and your name at the end. Alright, I hope this video has been helpful to you, and I hope that you remember these elements tomorrow when you're sitting for your situational exam. Remember, time is of the essence. Make sure you've got your watch with you and you are timing yourself not to exceed 20 minutes when you are writing your email. 15 minutes would be ideal, with 5 minutes left over to do a very quick scan of your email to check for any grammar errors. Remember, follow the wording of the points. You can copy the same stem to answer the question. For example, the first point, why are you writing this email? I would like to inform you about some of the important points mentioned, and so on. Point number 2, what do you need to buy as a gift for the family you are visiting? You need to buy a gift for the family you are visiting. Point number 3, what do you need to pack for this visit? You need to pack winter clothing because it's very cold in China, and you need to bring or pack comfortable shoes for the sightseeing, and so on and so forth. Don't be afraid to copy or use the words from the question to answer in your email. That way you will avoid any mistakes in grammar or tenses. I hope this has been helpful to you. All the best to you tomorrow. Remember to have a good rest tonight and tune in later on for another video on a summary of all of the strategies I taught you for composition. Good night and all the best.